The victim personality. This is from my chronic pain camp workbook.
If there is a concise definition of disease, it is probably perceived lack of control.
I will give $100 to the first person who can show me a legit dictionary where that is the definition of disease. I won't hold my breath. Thoughts, being the base of controlling perception and imbalance, are not only the root of the problem, but also hold the keys to solving it.
So, more concisely, thoughts cause disease. That is what this is saying.
And right beneath that, we have a discussion of external locus of control, which is my new favorite phrase after the hypermobility doctor told me that talking about systemic harms, things that would fall in the social circle of the biopsychosocial model that they claim to be using, that would be creating an external locus of control, and that would make people's diseases worse.
So here is where that comes from. This is what we call a false dichotomy. This guide says there are only two extremes of thought processing and perceived life control.
Why would it not exist on a spectrum? Why would internal and external locuses of control not both be capable of existing and impacting people?
It goes on to say, if you are an externally controlled person, you acknowledge that anything comes from the outside world that impacts you.
You are exhibiting the victim personality. They're being that explicit. If you perceive that your emotions originate from the outside world and you ever acknowledge that you don't have control over that, you are a victim. They mean that in the sense of a dirty word, not like a fact, like a flood victim, a drowning victim, a fire victim, a lead poisoning victim. They've turned acknowledging external impact into the victim personality. They've turned victim into a dirty word. Now there is no way for patients or people in this framework, in this ideology, to acknowledge any systemic oppression, bias, discrimination, bad luck, privilege, war, global warming, corporate greed. Where have I heard this kind of narrative before? Hold yourself up by your bootstraps. Yeah, the Republican Party. So if you weren't sure whether this was ableism, this is the same logic, same silencing technique used on women, people of color, LGBTQ community, victims of sexual assault. It's victim shaming.
Anyhow, it gets worse. The solution is proactive thinking. If you take control and responsibility for your feelings and the results, there is no one to blame things on, nothing to be angry at, and simply life and the adventure that it brings every single day.
Well, I guess someone should have told MLK that. Someone should have told Aaron Brockovich, Gandhi, Dolores Huerta. There's nothing to be angry at, don't you know? There's simply life and the adventure it takes you on.